What's up, everybody? PG Braun here, president of Blackstone Labs. I'm standing here with the infamous, or now famous, Coach K, one of my personal clients, one of my 3 clients, and the main one you guys have been seeing a lot lately, Dane, the Freak Sellers, that's my male client, and Karen is my main female client, but I have one other client who we're going to introduce in a second. And because we have everybody here today, I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. This is my proper posing for NPC and IFBB Bikini. And we've done every other division now, and they've been very popular videos, very instructional, very informative, and people like them a lot. So now we have to finish the, I guess it's not really a trilogy, but this is the 3rd video on posing with bikini posing. And the bikini is a very individual specific sport. It's not like bodybuilding where you have to do your front lat spread this way, you have to do this pose this way. In bikini, a lot of it is going to vary for the individual, and there's also going to be a lot of variation from NPC to IFBB. So, Coach K, beautiful woman that she is, also has competed in pro bikini, is going to basically explain step by step what you're doing in the poses, and I'm going to be kind of calling out bullet points for everything, so we're going to double team Nika today. And to talk a little bit about our model, Nika. So Nika Lazutina was a NPC competitor who just dominated in a year. She got 5 overalls in 1 year, and because of that was awarded professional status in the IFBB by Jim Mannion. She is here from Belarus, but now living in South Florida, and it wasn't fair for her to keep dominating the NPC, so we moved her up. Now, this is her first year competitive in the NPC. She is outstanding with her presentation, and so it was perfect for her to be our model for this. And so, Nika, I'm gonna bring Nika in now. So Nika is 1 week out of the Chicago Pro. She's coming off of the top 5 in Miami at the Miami Muscles, is what that show's called. And Karen and I were both there watching, and I was very excited. That is the first top 5 for her of many. And we are now 1 week out from Chicago. We have a few more shows this year trying to get her points for the Olympia. I do believe that she belongs on the Olympia stage. We have been working on streamlining her physique because she was very dominant in her upper body as far as shoulders. I liked her physique more muscular, but the judges want a more streamlined, smaller look in IFBB Bikini this year. So I feel like we've done a hell of a job with that. And I'm gonna actually step out now and let Karen start breaking down what has to be done in each pose. We're gonna show you guys real time, and we're gonna show you guys step by step, because I want you guys to watch this video and not have to go anywhere else. I don't want you to have to look at anybody else's video after this. And we're gonna spend a lot of time in the specifics of transitioning, do's and don'ts, and I think that you guys are gonna really be happy with this video. We'll see at the end. Give me your feedback as always. But now I'm going to turn it over to Coach K. Why have the big gross guy do it? We have another pretty girl who's done it all. And I'm going to hover around back here and fire out my bullet points. But I'm going to let Coach K take over.
What's up, guys? So I'm happy to have our model Nika here today. As PJ was saying, we're going to go over NPC and IFBB posing because there is a difference. So we want to cover everything here so you guys have one source, one video that you can just learn from and practice with. So the main thing is that every time you're on the stage, you want to be selling yourself. So you've worked really hard on your body. Now you have to sell yourself to the judges. Everyone's pretty much going to come in shape. So you have to think, how can I separate myself from everyone else? It's your head to toe look. It's from your walk, from the way that you present yourself, from the way you walk away from the stage. All of those things are important. So first thing that the judges are going to see when you come on the stage is how you're standing on the side of the stage. Right. So if you could just stand over here and kind of show them how you hold your body when she's on the side of the stage. And so the number is usually on the left-hand side, so you want to make sure that's always visible to the judges. If you're in this kind of pose, you don't want your number to be way down here. You want to make sure that you place it up here so the judges can see that number. So when she's on the side of the stage, she's already looking presentable before she even walks onto the stage. Now, so she's looking good. She's already smiling at the judges, checking all of them out, making eye contact. And then before she walks onto the stage, she'll bring her feet together, and then she'll start with the walk, and she'll go out to the stage. She'll just show them you'll notice here that she has small steps She uses her hips and her arms to give some movement to her walk. So your walk can really catch the attention of the judges. If you take too long of strides, or if you're very stiff, that's not gonna sell you very well. You wanna have a nice arch in your lower back. That's with your walk, and that's with pretty much everything you're doing on the stage. You have an arch in your lower back. So Nika, you can come back over here for a sec. I'm just stand here. So in the NPC, the judges are gonna have you come onto the stage first with the other girls. You're not gonna come on the stage by yourself. So let's just say there's 10 girls in your class. They're gonna bring usually the first 5 out, turn them to the back, turn them back to the front, and then have them wait on the side of the stage, and then they'll bring the next 5 out, turn them to the back and back to the front, and put them on the other side of the stage. Now, depending on the size of the show or where the show's located, you may or may not come into your individual posing at prejudging. You may just do that at finals. But you'll be prepared anyway with your personal routine to do in the morning or the PM show. So, do you want to go out and just kind of demonstrate? Let me tell everybody how the stage is kind of set up first. So, in the center of the stage, you're going to have a box there. That's the center of the stage. And then there's dots alongside, and that's where everybody knows where to stand. So if Nika's the first girl to come out, she's gonna walk out all the way to the last dot. And the minute she gets there, she's gonna go ahead and hit her front pose, whether it's this pose or this pose, which we'll go over later. She's already starting to look at the judges and looking good while the other girls are lining up next to her. So go ahead and come on out. Good, so she's smiling, she's in her front pose. Now, the judges are gonna have basically 2 commands at this point. They're gonna say face the rear, so go ahead and face the rear. And go to the, there we go. Now the next thing they're gonna say is face the front. And she's right back into her front pose. Okay, you can rest for 1 second. So, as you guys saw, she also did what I call a side pose. So, she was in her front pose, and when they say face the rear, she's transitioning to the rear by doing a side pose and then going into the back pose. You want to make sure that you keep your back nice and arched as you're transitioning so that your glutes don't drop. So, as I'm here and I go into the back pose, I'm keeping that arch in my back. And then once I get into this back pose, I'm holding it. You want to hold it. You don't want to do any look backs. You don't want to move your hair off your back. You're going to leave everything there. And then when I transition to the front, I'm going to keep this arched and then come back to the front and go into my front pose. She's a pro, so she has a cute look back that she does. Can you show them that you do?
I'm just like my routine.
Yeah, so you have more time as a pro. When you're in the NPC, you're just really gonna hit your pose. And then when they say face the front, you just come back right around and go into your front pose. So what I tell girls is to, as quickly as you can, get into your back pose, because they judge pretty fast sometimes. So you want to make sure that you're here, side pose only for a second, and then in that back pose as quickly as you can. That's because the judges want to see all of the girls lined up so they can judge them and move on to the other girls.
All right, like I said, we're going to break this down, guys, segment by segment. So now that Coach K has given you guys a kind of a general overview, we're going to have Nika come out as if she was on an NPC stage. This is much different than if she was on an IFBB stage. So Karen is going to kind of stand behind her and basically give you a quick little overview of what she's doing. This is going to be much faster than if she were on an IFBB stage. We will show you the difference afterwards. We're going to let her come out and do her actual IFBB routine. So again, I'm going to get out of the way. And Nika, you're going to come out. Karen's going to call it out. You're on the side of the stage, let's call you number 69. And you're going to come out and do your presentation. I don't know how long they even get in the NPC these days. It's like 15 seconds.
Yes, very fast.
It's fast. So you're gonna come out.
I do quickly, right?
So as you can see, she pretty much holds each pose for 3 seconds. That's what you want to do. So when she came out, she goes ahead and hits her front pose. I would start looking at all the judges during that 3 seconds. And then on this side pose, I'd hold that for 3. And then go into the back, hold it for 3 so the judges get a good look there. And she did her walk to the back. You want to make sure that you keep an arch there and that you keep nice and tight in the glutes. And then she came back around and went into her front pose. Hold that last front pose for 3 seconds so the judges get that last good look at you. And then when you do your wave, either bring it in and you can do a wave from the back arm, or you can do something a little cuter and then exit the stage. She exits the stage with a little bit of a sidewalk, so she's not dropping her glutes or showing the judges her glutes completely from the back. So that little bit of sidewalk kind of just makes sure that you're showing the best part of your body, which is what you want to do the whole time you're on the stage.
You have to remember, the judges are going to look at what's wrong with you more than what's right with you. So even though there will be a portion where they tell you to walk to the back of the stage, you're going to look, no matter how tight you are, the worst walking away because the folds of your butt are going to wrinkle up. So this is something that is just strategic in that sidewalk to hide weaknesses. Everything is about hiding flaws and weaknesses all the way down to the pose. When Karen is showing you these transitions, they're all poses. Everything is a pose. So when she's turning, she's posing no matter what position it is. It's always a pose. You're never just gonna relax and go into a position, because when you relax, that's when things don't look good. Even the wave is still a pose. This little cute thing that she did here, that's a strategic cute pose. You're not waving like this from the front and opening up the side of your body. That's why she explained you're gonna wave from the back side, or the little half wave cute from the front. You don't ever show what can be considered a weakness or a flaw or a soft part of your physique. You're hiding any imperfections and showing strengths no matter what in bikini. And realistically, in any competition, you don't want your weak points to show, but when somebody is looking at you as a model, for instance, you're modeling the entire time no matter what. There is no downtime, even when you're on the side of the stage. You have to always remember that in your head. They're always looking for what's wrong with you.
Right, and for the new NPC girls, something that's easy for you guys to remember is, as you're transitioning, always bring, like if this is your comfortable hip that you're sitting in, always just transition your feet left to right. Nika can do something different because she's a pro and she's not new. But if you're new, bring your left foot to the right. Notice how I have an arch in my back here, and this, even just this mid pose, I call it, looks nice for my physique. And then go into your side pose. Then to go into the back, you bring your left to the right. And now to come back to the front, left to the right, and then go into the front pose again. And then from there, make my body look good here, and either do this wave or do this wave, and then walk it off.
So Nika, come out, do these real slow now, and we're gonna talk about things that you're doing while you're doing it. So we'll do these almost in slow motion. So guys, you notice when she's walking, she's elongating her torso as much as possible, keeping her stomach pulled in. Never ever slouch on stage, ever. Freeze this for a second. So as a judge, this is what I'm looking at. I don't want any wrinkles in her skin back here or here. So when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, when you're working with a coach, these are all things that you're gonna have to study. We had Nika pose for Steve Weinberger, and he actually pointed out, and this is an expert that's been doing this for many, many years, just in one of her transitions where a little bit of skin wrinkled on her leg, and he said, eliminate that immediately. You don't ever wanna do that. So wiped it out. And this was just a 1 second transitional pose. So when I'm looking at her, when I'm breaking down a physique, We're looking at this S-type shape that she's got to her torso. We're looking at the caps to the delts, the sweep here to the glute, the sweep, of course, in the quads. You want everything to be as balanced and streamlined as possible. You don't want to have an overpowering delt. You don't want to have overpowering sweep to your quads. So when you're going through your preparation, your training, you want this all to flow perfectly aesthetic from top to bottom. It's the equivalent of the X-frame in bodybuilding, where you want in bodybuilding the middle to be the smallest and you want to be the widest up top and bottom. Essentially it's the same thing in bikini. You want to be the smallest here with everything flowing out, but you've got to make sure that you don't have overpowering strengths. Whereas in bodybuilding, it's okay if you have really, really awesome arms. It's okay if you have really, really, really awesome delts. You don't want that in bikini. If you're the girl that's known for her really, really good quads in bikini, you're probably not gonna be doing good. If you're the girl like Nika was, who's known for having really, really capped delts, it's probably gonna hurt you. They don't want that. They want everything to be subtly balanced. So now she's gonna go into the next spot. So when she's transitioning, again, they're looking for loose skin here, looking for wrinkles in the back. They're looking for the slight musculature in the back through the tricep. You see, this is all tense. She's flexing everything, but it's casual.
And you see how she's doing what looks good for her body in the side pose, as opposed to like if she turned it way too much, it might not look as good. You can come back. It depends on the person's physique. So she's looking in the mirror and seeing what shows off her body the best. So that is gonna come down to the individual. So that's something you have to play with and look at in the mirror.
All right, in this back pose, this is the most important thing in this back pose. This is the do or die for a bikini competitor, is the separation between your glutes and hamstrings. This is by far the most important thing. When you were training, when you were dieting, this is where you look no matter what. To the point now where when Nika sends me her progress pics, I don't even care about her front shots. This is all I want when she sends me her check-ins. This separation through here, which is gonna come out more over the next week, is basically the game changer. This is what's going to separate the people in the top 5 versus the people that are not. If you're smooth through here, not so much in the NPC, but when you get up to that national level stage, girls are gonna have it. In the IFBB, if you don't have it, you're not getting called out, period. Okay, so your training should be focused around ham-glute separation. You can see her adductors are separated through here. Now, in these back poses, they do not want to see this musculature back here. So, if you have really, really short hair, I'm not telling you to get extensions, but it's not a bad idea if your back is muscular. She doesn't move her hair out of the way. In the old days, when the bikini first started, the girls would actually move their hair. Judges do not want that now. They do not want you to move your hair. If you've got overpowering rear delts, for instance, this could hurt you in this pose. You're not going to be tensing real hard in your legs like a bodybuilder would, although everything is slightly tensed here. All right, so they're looking at this taper through here as well. And then when she transitions, when you turn, never, ever, ever slouch your stomach out in the turn. She's always keeping her air exhaled and pulled tight. This is a very, very important thing to think about, is always paying attention to your torso, to your midsection. You're always standing really tall and proud and proper. And now again, back in this pose, these poses can absolutely change for the individual, like Karen said. This pose I like for her a lot. She's showing nice roundness to her shoulders on both sides. She's showing definition through her arms. She's always elongating her torso, as we keep on saying. She's always smiling at the judges. And
sweat.
It's gonna be hot on stage, so you're gonna practice this stuff a lot. As far as the transitions into each pose go, for the most part, you're transitioning the same. It's the execution of the actual pose that's gonna be a little different for individual. You gotta look at yourself and what looks best for you. Not what Ashley Cotwasser does, or not what, you know, girl X does. You wanna do what's best for you. So you might have to move your hand maybe a little bit higher, a little bit lower. This hand may be farther away or closer to your body, but you've gotta play around with this stuff as much as possible.
And notice how her arm is not blocking her glute. You don't want to have it to where it's like here and you can't see the glute. So she's open, kind of opens up her lat so that she has that wideness there to show off the glute. Another thing I want you guys to notice is, let's do your back pose facing me. So just face me and do your back pose. I want to get from this side to show you the arch in her back. So she's mainly concentrating on arching as much as she can in her lower back. She's not, let me bend you forward a little bit. She's not bending over from the torso. She's more so making sure this is nice and arched. That's what's gonna help give a lot of separation here between her glutes and her hamstrings. So make sure that you're not bending too forward. The judges don't wanna see that. So this is perfect as she is right here. Okay, rest for 1 sec. Now, show them, we gotta give her a breather. Posing's a workout, I tell you. So you're seeing her front pose that works great for her physique. So that's a pose that I love and it works for a lot of women. There's another front pose that I find to be like another basic front pose that you can try, and I'll put Nika in it. It's sitting back on, putting all your weight on your back leg and twisting your torso, standing nice and tall in your torso. So I just want to show that with her. So in this pose, you can see how small her waist is. Her shoulders look nice. What PJ was talking about before is that this doesn't look, this skin here doesn't look great on her. So this isn't necessarily the best pose for Nika. But this is a pose that you can try at home for your physique. So you can try this pose, and now go to your other front pose. Or try this pose. You can notice her feet too, because you're gonna need to set up your feet. You can see how close together they are. She's shifting all her weight on this back leg, and that's giving her that nice shape here. So she's not just straight up and down, she has nice shape. The further you put your feet apart, the harder you're gonna have a harder time stretching nice and tall in the torso. So that's a great pose for her.
All right, what I'm gonna have Nika do now, I want you guys to see how much difference this is. So now we're gonna be quiet, and Nika's gonna do her IFBB presentation when they call her out. This is what they do, this is how much different it is in the IFBB. And IFBB competitors, whether in the top 5 or not, I want you to pay attention to this also. You may see something that you can add in or change in your routine. But in the IFBB, you're gonna take your time, and you're gonna make sure they're looking at you. So in the NPC, you have a very limited amount of time on stage. I always tell the girls, don't rush it, because the time that you're up there, you're gonna see it goes a lot faster than you even realize. But make sure you're seducing the judges no matter what. You're always looking at the judges and seducing them. Now in the IFBB, you're gonna be up there for a long time. You know, there's maybe 20 to 30 girls max in a show, so you're gonna get a minute or so on stage to really go through your routine. So this is your time to shine and show them who you are. So Nika's gonna do her routine now. This is an IFBB length routine. So guys, when you're on the side of the stage, they obviously, just like any other division, they're gonna call out who they think are the top 5 best first. If they do not call you out, that doesn't mean the win gets taken out of your sails, you start slouching, you stand there proud no matter what, because you're being photographed and they're also still watching you. And they can absolutely call you in later. And if they don't call you out, it doesn't matter, you still wanna make sure you're presenting yourself the best no matter what. As you see, there's a lot more that goes into the length of an IFBB routine versus an NPC, and you get to show a little bit more. But I think Karen did a really good job of explaining the do's and don'ts of each class, and I want you guys to understand that The biggest thing when it comes to posing in any division is you're showing yourself and the hard work that you put in, but you're letting your personality shine through your body. So this is why you pose with confidence and why you smile and why you do things to the best of your ability. Again, not just like I said before, not like how Ashley Caldwell, not like Courtney King, or not like Natalia Mello. They're superstars and they figured out what was best for them. You got to figure out what's best for you based around the guidelines that we've given you. These are the general guidelines for success that we're laying out. It's your job to perfect them. And I feel like we put a lot of instruction in. You feel like there's more things you want to break down?
Yeah, I want to just talk about a few things, and that's if you are just starting out and you haven't done a show, it's your first show, you need to start posing when you're at least about 10 weeks out.
For sure.
That's when I usually start posing, girls. It's so important that you start soon enough so that you have time to practice on your own, so that you can run it by your coach, so you can just video yourself and change things as needed. As your body changes, different poses are gonna look better on you. For example, the one she does, you have to be lean to look really good in that pose. But practice it, and then practice a couple other ones, and then as time goes on, as your body's changing, you'll see which looks good best, or which looks best on your body. Yeah. So start posing a long time before your show. Another thing you'll notice when she walks, she leads with her boobs and not her pelvis. Some girls, they're walking like this, and it doesn't look good at all. You've always got to have your hips to the back. Like
I like to lead with my pelvis when I walk.
It's like pageant style, I think. Don't pageant girls, isn't it? They lead more with this. So she's always has that nice arch in her back, no matter what she's doing. And that's always gonna keep her nice and tall in the torso. Like PJ was saying, you never wanna slouch. You're always tall in this torso.
More time in the heels, the better. You wanna be able to do anything in these heels. So walk around your house in them, vacuum the floor in them, do whatever.
Yes.
Do your dishes in them, so it becomes second nature where you're not even thinking about it. When I see a girl that's clunking around in her heels, no matter how good she looks, it throws me off. And it throws the judges off too. You've gotta wear these heels so much that you don't even realize that you have them on.
When I start compete, I walk in my house in the heels like 2 hours.
Yeah, you have
I'm
to.
cooking, I do everything, like all my stuff, because my legs get used to these heels, you know.
And I'm probably gonna put those videos out too. Those videos are gonna cost you a little bit, but we'll work on getting those.
Yeah, practice in your heels. You don't want to look like you just started posing when you're out on the stage. You're working really hard on your physique. The posing is equally as important than just getting the body. Another thing I was going to say is you can video yourself, look at those videos, and then tweak things from what you see on the video. Practice in front of the mirror, but also practice not facing the mirror so you can feel what your body's doing. If you're practicing in the mirror all the time, you don't have the mirror on stage, so you want to make sure that you're practicing in and out of the mirror.
When you first started in the NPC for your shows, how much did you practice a day?
I did every single day, in the morning, in the evening, like 15-20 minutes, it's enough, because after your body like tired. But anyway, I practice with heels, I practice with my sneakers, wherever, because every single transition, you need to get used to this. And when you wake up, I don't know, you need to remember somebody like borrow you, like wake up, and you need to like walk in, because you need to remember, right, what you do.
What about now? Do you practice that much now?
Yes, I do.
More or less?
Not like same, not like 20 minutes, but I do 15 minutes. It's close to my show, like 2 weeks close to my show. I do every single day, and sometimes I change a lot, because my body change, you know, and like all the time I put something new in my posing routine, because oh, I like this, you know, and like just practice. You never can like repeat all the time what you do before and in your recording a video, because we all natural, right? Like we're human, we can repeat everything.
Do you pose with a video, with a
Yes, in a camera.
So you have somebody videotaping you. Do you use a mirror?
No, I'm not.
Very important. In the beginning, you're going to want to use a mirror, of course, but you're not going to have a mirror when you're on stage, guys, or you're not going to be able to look at anything when you're on stage. You're going to have to know what you're doing in your mind. You have to feel how your body feels in these poses.
Right.
So you're going to have to please practice without a mirror as much as possible.
if I want to change something, for sure, I like practice in the mirror, I look at the best side, and after this I'm recording you, and imagine here in the judges, so look a little bit down, because judges all the time sitting down, not like up. Right, and you need to look down and don't forget smile.
Don't forget smile.
Don't forget smile.
To yell at Nika for that.
Always have to smile.
Right.
Yeah, and the shoes, practicing in those is very important. I just put them in my gym bag, have them with me. Then after you work out, then you can just put them on and you have a mirror, because you have to practice your walk as well, everybody. You can't just practice just the poses. You're gonna have to walk on the stage, walk off the stage, back onto it. And that's why her walk is so good, because I'm sure she's practiced a ton in her heels.
Yes, and one tip, you need to have to walk in different floor, because you never know which floor will be, like this, or like tile, whatever, or like carpet, or like, let's say,
wood.
Wood.
We have wood, you have tile, you have...
Every time, like...
I have seen shows where there's like that crappy carpet.
And you need to try walking in different floor, because you never know which will be floor in
you're on turf right now. You probably won't get that on stage.
True.
Run some sprints afterwards.
She can still work it on the turf, everybody. That's how much she practices her posing. In bikini, if you have that it factor, if you have all this confidence and you have that hotness to you and your physique isn't as good as the girl next to you, you could just really sell yourself based on your confidence. The judges want to see that confident woman, that person that's put time into the posing, that when you come out, they can't take their eye off you. And that's the kind of it factor that Nika has.
India Paulino really owned that. When she first came on the scene, this is not a dig on her, but she maybe didn't have the most impressive physique. She had a very balanced physique. But she came out in the yellow bikini and she had so much more sass than anyone. She had a bigger strut than everyone. She had more pizzazz in her hair flipping and smiling. I remember the first show she ever did, she came out in New York before she was even a pro. She was a bombshell girl, and they always bring the bombshell girls up through New York. And she came out, I remember back in the day, she probably doesn't remember this, and by the way, I'm good friends with Whitney. I messaged her, I think on friggin' MySpace, actually, and I was like, watching you from the stage. This was my move back in the day. I was like, watching you from the stage, excellent presentation, and she did. She had really, really good presentation, which took her in to be a top 5 champion and a show winner many, many times. And I've had girls say, like, I don't understand, my physique is better than hers. And I've told those girls straight up, honestly, you have a very, very impressive physique, but your presentation does not match hers. Like, you have to remember, this is a douchey guy way to say it, but it's still a hot girl contest at the end of the day. And you gotta present yourself as the hottest girl, and a lot of that is your attitude, guys. A lot of it is, because another funny way to break this down is I compare bikini to like watching the Westminster Dog Show. And there's different winners all the time. The Poodle wins sometimes, the German Shepherd wins sometimes. You're like, why did the German Shepherd win this week and the Poodle won last week? And it is because it's the individual presentation of that person that's shining out through their physique more so than just the beautiful body and the pretty face. It's what's coming out of you. So if you have that it factor, or if you believe that you have it in you, you're not gonna release it without a lot of practice.
The practice definitely helps. And it's the head to toe look, guys. Your hair has to be on point, your makeup has to be on point, your tan, your suit, your heels, jewelry, everything matters in bikini. So all of that has to be A1. So you have to put everything into this, because everything's gonna add up to a great package.
Right.
What do you think?
I mean, it's the bikini life, I don't know.
I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with this video. Coach K helped a lot. Wanted to have a woman's perspective, somebody that does this all the time with her competitors. Competitors are always very, very good in presentation. She's very good in her presentation. She's very meticulous with everything. And Nika, she can do all the poses perfectly and presents herself. She's constantly practicing. So watch this video, break it down, practice yourself, take the little things that we told you and perfect your own routine. And it will make you a better competitor no matter how good of a shape you're in. You can always work on presentation at all times. And I'm very pleased with this. This is good. This is a trickier video to do, guys, than a figure bodybuilding physique video, because there's so much individuality that goes into this. But I think I'm gonna close it out for Nika and Karen, unless you have anything else you wanna add to the video. Like how much you love me, maybe.
Yes, how much PJ's helped you, and Blackstone Labs,
Yes,
and oh my gosh.
and we love Blackstone Labs.
Nika, I will say, did a lot. This is where you'll find out things about the different people that I work with, and this is consistent with most of them. Nika did a lot on her own. She's doing most of the stuff on her own. She's got a very good trainer that kills her in the gym, but she is extremely independent, much like how Karen is, and so she was tossing around some of her ideas with me after one show, and I saw some holes in what she was doing from a nutritional standpoint. Because she represents the company and because I care about her so much as a person, I said, listen, let me just take over the nutrition part and we're gonna perfect your physique, which I believe that we have. So we started working together about 3 weeks before the New York Pro, did a lot for the New York Pro, and then from the New York Pro to Miami, did quite a bit also, where now we have her in the top 5, and my plan is for her to be a perennial top 5 competitor. I don't take a bikini competitor in the IFBB and say, hey, our plan is we're gonna win this show next week. I'll do that with a bodybuilder. I can't do a bikini because of how subjective it is. So my plan is to have her in the top 5, compared against the other best girls in the world, and you'll see they juggle these girls around all the time. But once you're there, and if you're consistent, you keep showing up, you're gonna stay there, and this is how you get yourself into that top 10, then hopefully top 5 mix at the Olympia. Once you're in the top 5 at the Arnold and Olympia, and other people will debate this, you're all champions, and no one's gonna get mad if they take 4th place and move her 1 to 4. We may get mad because we know a little bit more, but the outside looking in, they're not gonna know why 5th was not 1st. They're not gonna know. They're all that good and they're all that different. So do what it takes to get into that group and stay there, and that's winning in bikini.
Yeah, bikini is a very tough division. I mean, you could place 10th in one show and get 2nd in the next show. It depends on who shows up. It's subjective. There's a lot of different factors. So you just have to keep going. Just keep improving your physique. Just work on yourself. Be a better you. If you place like so much importance on the placing, it's going to take away from your journey. I've seen her change so much, her body, since, you know, you guys hooked up, and just, I mean, she does amazing work on her own, but just from the shows from New York down to Miami. So when I saw her today, I was wowed. I couldn't believe the difference. You can make extreme changes in just a short amount of time. Your body's just gonna get tighter and tighter. So kudos to you guys for like an amazing job. It's such a different package than I've seen, and it's just like she just is getting better the entire year. So I'm very excited for her and PJ and for Blackstone Labs.
Team Tiny.
Thank you.
You're next.
That's right. And on that note,
peace out, bye.
Bye.